I am declaring war.
Just like we can't prove certain things in space, I'm not sure we can prove many things in microspace that have been sold to us over the years.
Viruses are things on the very edge of life. We can't taste them, smell them, or see them, but they're there.
Never before in history have doctors been able to do so much to preserve your health as they can today. And almost everywhere in medicine, the parade of advances that will benefit countless millions has just begun.
Vaccines became a scientist's dream. And that means a lot of work for scientists at the World Health Organization and Centers for Disease Control in Atlanta. Every year, it's a race against time.
People were absolutely panicked because somebody could be playing bridge one night and they would be dead the next day.
There is now a danger that has become a threat to us all. It is a deadly disease and there is no known cure. The virus can be passed during sexual intercourse with an infected person. Anyone can get it, man or woman. So far, it's been confined to small groups, but it's spreading. So protect yourself. And read this leaflet when it arrives. If you ignore AIDS, it could be the death of you. So don't die of ignorance.
When it was first announced that Dr. Robert Gallo had found the virus that probably caused AIDS, and that announcement was made with Margaret Heckler in 1984 to the press and to the media without one single scientific document appearing in any journal in the United States. And as we know now, without any proof whatsoever that the virus caused any disease. The media picked up on it for the sake of a story. And soon, the virus that probably caused AIDS was now the virus that caused AIDS. It was proven in the press and nowhere else. Now, I have offered for over a year now, and I continue to offer it, $100,000 to anyone who will give me one scientific document that proves that HIV causes any serious disease. It doesn't. It is a scandal and a scam beyond belief.
I knew that the images provided by NASA and other space agencies of stars and planets and galaxies were completely fake, but I was curious about microspace. I remembered the images I had seen when I was little of viruses. So there's a lot of fear involved with sickness and disease and things we cannot see. So I was curious as to whether they actually existed, and I decided to do some research. It's 2015. I figured surely by now we have millions of pictures of viruses. And much to my dismay, I couldn't find anything. They were the same old NASA-like CGI pictures and images, nothing real. There were no real pictures from an electron microscope of a virus, other than the handful of images I remember from when I was a kid. So I immediately just started looking into it more and more and finding so many holes in the theory of viruses. We really have never seen a clear picture of a virus. The only thing we see in these electron microscope pictures or images are just these round orbs. And that's not good enough. I mean, this is 2015. There should be cross-sections. We should have a picture of every virus. And we should at least have proof of a real virus having been isolated, which we do not have, at least not in acceptable conditions. And the list of viruses is huge, so I went down the list of each virus and tried to find images of them, and you can't find any images. There's no real electron microscope pictures of viruses. Just if you get any, a few of them will have an image, but it's just a round blob. And so I just immediately started researching and finding problems with the model, the medical system that we've been brainwashed with. Once we open our eyes to this fraud we've been sold, to this reality we've been brainwashed with, we realize how ignorant we are when it comes to health and medicine. But it also lifts a burden of fear that has been pressed upon us for so many years. And it's also exciting because we get to discover some of the ancient knowledge that may have been lost throughout the controlled history we were given. Now, there may be even more resistance to this idea that viruses are a complete fabrication, even more so than the flat earth. If you say the flat earth, people might just think you're crazy. But if you say, I don't even think viruses exist, they may think you're completely off your rocker. So it's actually that ingrained in us that these viruses exist. And that's how important it is that we be honest with ourselves and we look at everything with objective eyes and we say, okay, you're trying to give me medication or a vaccine or this or that. Well, prove to me that you even have isolated a virus, that you even know what a virus is, that this virus actually exists as you present it. So there are people out there, not as many as the Flat Earth movement or the fake space realization. You know, there's a book by Klaus Conlon, and it's titled, How the Medical Industry Continually Invents Epidemics, Making billion-dollar profits at our expense. And he shows that the alleged contagious viruses are just, in fact, particles produced by the cells themselves as a consequence of certain stress factors. So there's a lot of information out there. We need to discover a lot more information. And like I said, this is not a very popular topic, and there's not many people out there blowing the whistle on it. But I think that there are enough questions to be asked in this regard. Are viruses in fact real, or do they not exist? Can we not prove that they exist? Just like we can't prove certain things in space, I'm not sure we can prove many things in microspace that have been sold to us over the years.
While smallpox may be the most deadly virus of the 20th century, there are other microscopic killers that hold impressive numbers of victims. In the war against viruses, man is trying to build up an efficient arsenal of defense. A race against time has truly begun. Each mutation is like a new secret weapon against which we must learn to defend ourselves. For more than a century, modern virology has been taking giant steps forward in vaccine research.